great patriots, great people. Can you believe it? 16 days. 16 days. And you know what? 16 days from now, we're going to win the state of Nevada. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. We're going to keep it going. Out and vote. And they're getting a little worried because certain areas, you know, we know we're going to have a big red wave. We're going to have a tremendous, they know it, these fakers back there. All you have to do is look at this crowd. When did we set this up? Like 2 days ago? We'll be in Carson City in about 2 days and the people come out like crazy. And the people on the road, thousands and thousands because they couldn't get in. It's pretty sad when you take an airport and it's not big enough, right? Sure, we have a problem. We have an airport, it's not big enough. But you know what's happening? So we have the big red wave is going to happen. And that's going to happen on November 3rd and a little before for the voting. But you can get out now, right, Michael? They can get out now and they can vote. But you know, strange things are happening in North Carolina.
In California!
A lot of people are out there voting. You know, those lines are miles long.
Trump, we love you!
Miles long. And there were a lot of red caps. They were caps and they were badges and they were those beautiful shirts.
Trump, California
A
loves
lot of them, they love our country. They work so hard, but they weren't into voting for a long time. Then about 4 years ago, they went out, and now they're out, and I think even more so. There's even more enthusiasm now than we had 4 years ago. Actually, it's hard to believe, and I'll say it for the fake news, by a lot. I'll give you an example. Michigan. In Michigan, we're supposed to be at probably 80-20 with us on the back, but we're going to catch them, you know.
They don't let selfie sticks in.
We should with all the auto plants being built in Michigan. Hadn't been built for 42 years, and now they're building them all over the place. A lot of jobs. They had the best year they ever had. Michigan had the best year. They have a governor that's got it locked down, but now we forced it to open up. They ruled unconstitutional what she's doing. But here's what's happening. So in Michigan, it was supposed to be, you know, they were going to take the big lead, then we were like a racehorse, then we were going to catch him with a big red wave because our people like to go and vote, you know. But something strange is happening in Michigan. It's happening in other places too, but it's happening in Michigan because we're not at 20%. We're leading in the early voting. And that's never happened. That's never happened before for the Republicans. It doesn't work that way. Now, in all fairness, until I won Michigan 4 years ago, Michigan hadn't been won in decades, many decades by a Republican. But we won it, and now we should win it by even more because everything I said that would happen happened. All the plans, all the good economy and everything until the China virus came in. The plague from now we're, and how do I look, okay? Do I look okay? Things today that we couldn't do. We can do things today we couldn't do. 7 months ago, we got hit with this thing. The whole world got hit with it. They should have kept it in. They could have kept it in. They protected their country, but they didn't protect the world or us, Europe. And we will never forget. Never forget. We had just signed an incredible trade deal. The ink wasn't dry, and then we got hit by the plague. But we will not forget. But you know, we were doing numbers like the likes of which we've never done before. 160 million people employed. You had the best year you ever had. But almost all states, I can say it, I don't have to do a lot of research. Almost every state was having the best year they ever had. And then we closed it up and we saved over 2 million lives by doing what we did. You know, they don't like to say that. But we're now doing the vaccines. They're coming out very soon, very strong. Great companies, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, a lot of Moderna, great companies, a lot more than that. But they also have a lot of other things. And I would, you know, they call them therapeutics. For me, it was a cure.
Does that sound better or does that sound worse? Usually when I have the camera like this, it sounds worse.
I wasn't like, oh, gee, I feel great.
But I can see what I'm recording.
I hate to admit I didn't feel, you know, I haven't been somebody that's had a lot of problems with that stuff. So I hate to admit it, but you know what? I was not feeling great. Does that make sense? I wasn't exactly feeling the best. But the great thing is when you're president, you have so many doctors. I was saying to a group this morning.
Yeah, okay, I'll flip it back around.
I had 12 doctors sitting on bed, and everyone was grabbing a different part of my body. I didn't know. They're all super geniuses. But I was not feeling good, and then they gave me this Regeneron, which is an antibody, and great company, great company, tremendous success with cures, vaccines, other things. And they actually came up with the Ebola drug, which saved so many lives. They came up with a lot of good stuff, and the other ones too, but this was one I liked because it just seemed to have a very good record, but it was brand new, hadn't been tested, hadn't been approved or anything. And by the way, we're approving it for everybody that needs it, free of charge, because it wasn't And Eli Lilly makes a drug based on the same concept. Eli Lilly, great company from Indiana, great state.
Oh, sorry,
Great
guys.
state because I won by a lot. You know, every state that I win
right
by a lot
there.
or win by a little, we're happy with. And by the way, we're leading, you know, in the state of Nevada. You better get out of it. But anyway, I took this drug. I wasn't feeling good. It's a transfusion, as they say. Like 1 hour. And the next day I felt like Superman. I got up and said, what the hell is going on? I felt like Superman.
You are
Come on, bring him on.
You are Superman.
No, I felt good, and I could have left. I wanted to leave the hospital then. They said, sir, could we have a couple of more days, please?
I love
But these doctors are great. I love you too.
She's with us.
Today, 7 months ago,
It looks very better.
the whole antibody thing was you know, what they've done is incredible. With the therapeutics and all of the vaccines that you're going to see coming on board right now. So, you know, I say you get out there and things are opening up. Tell your governor to open up. Tell everybody to open up. I told Michigan, you know, Michigan was sued. And they found her. It was unconstitutional. The only person that her state was opened up for was her husband. He was allowed to go and sail his boat, do whatever the hell he wanted to, but nobody else could.
We need you in
They were like locked in
California.
a prison. And it's very bad. You know, that causes a lot of problems. That causes the alcohol, and drugs, and depression, and suicide, believe it or not. And the cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. So, if you vote for me, and you know what's gonna happen. Let me change it. When you vote for me, so we have a lot of people here. Is there anybody that's going to vote for Sleepy Joe in this family? Not too many. Sleepy Joe.
Kanye West!
I can't even believe it. Should have never even gotten the nomination. It was Bernie's nomination until Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas split up the vote. But let's change it. When you vote for me, prosperity will surge. Your taxes will be cut even further. I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of the country. The pandemic is rounding the turn. It's rounding, and we have the vaccines coming, and they go crazy. The fake news, but I will tell you, it's rounding the turn with or without. It's rounding the turn. You'll see that. Normal life. That's all we want. We want normal life.
Yes.
We want to be where we were 7 months ago, right?
Yes.
We'll fully resume the Nevada tourism and hospitality industry, which is fantastic. Will come roaring back. And it will. And next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. Unless somebody like Sleepy Joe Biden wants to substantially increase your taxes and your regulations. You know, we cut your regulations. It used to take up to 21 years to get a highway approved. Can you believe it? 21 years. You ever see the big charts where you have to go here, 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 and then back? Take years and years. It could be 21 years, and then they get, none of that, 21 years, and then they disapprove it, okay? You know. How would you like to have that job? After 21 years, you're going for a vote, and then you lose 3-2, and that's the end of that. So a big portion of your life was trying to get something approved. And we have it down to 2 years. I think I'll have it down to 1 year, and it may be disapproved. If it's environmentally not good, if it's unsafe, it may be, but it's going to be 1 year, 2 years, and most likely it will be approved, and it will get done. He wants to terminate our newfound energy independence, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to end fracking. You know, do you ever see this guy? For a year and a half, there will be no fracking, no fracking, no fracking. Then he goes to a great place, Pennsylvania, and they say, by the way, we have 1 million jobs for fracking. Oh, we will have fracking. We will. And the fake news doesn't even talk to him about it. They don't ask him, like, well, how come for a year and a half you said there's no fracking? And then as soon as you get the nomination, you say there's fracking. Remember Hillary? She said no coal, no clean coal, no coffee. And 3 weeks later, she had to go to, him up, because you see what's happening with Biden? He is a corrupt politician. But did you see Hillary? And then she goes to West Virginia, and she said, oh, well, actually, I like coal, but it was a little bit too late. It was a little bit too late. She got record low numbers. West Virginia, great place. They don't like it when somebody says, you can't do coal. That was not good. But Biden wants to launch a socialist takeover of healthcare to cut our military budget, and he wants to cut it right to the bone. Well, the Democrats do not like our military. They always, traditionally, we have built the greatest military anytime we've ever had. If you vote for Biden, he will surrender your jobs to China. He will surrender your future to the virus. He's going to lock down. This guy wants to lock down. He'll listen to the scientists. If I listened totally to the scientists, we would right now have a country that would be in a massive depression instead of like a rocket ship. Take a look at the numbers. And that's despite the fact that we have like 5 or 6 of these Democrats keeping their states closed because they're trying to hurt us on November 3rd. But the numbers are so good anyway. They'd be even better. But New York should be open. Michigan now has to open because of the court case. North Carolina should be open. It should be open. You guys, you want to open? Yeah. California! Pennsylvania has to open. I mean, we have places, and sometimes they're open, but they're partially open.
I got money to spend.
Get the places open. Let's go. But he'll surrender your country to the radical socialist left. You see that happen. This election is a choice between a Trump super recovery, which we're in right now, or a Biden depression. You will have a depression. First of all, your taxes are going to be quadrupled. You will have a depression, the likes of which we have not seen since 1929. That's what's going to happen. And I'm very good at those things. You will have one of the great depressions of all time. Your taxes are going to go up. Your regulations are going to go up. Everybody's going to be leaving our country. All those jobs and companies that I brought in, they're all going back to where they came from. All he wants to do is raise it. Even other companies, who wants to raise it for the companies so they go back to another location? They came because we cut taxes. Now he wants to raise their taxes. They will leave. It's very simple. It's one of those things. It's a choice between strong borders or no borders, between supporting the police or defunding the police, between delivering a vaccine in record time to kill the virus or a Biden shutdown to kill the economy. On November 3rd, vote for jobs, safety, lower taxes, a secure Second Amendment, and freedom. There's a lot of people here. Look at it. USA. The cameras are showing. They never show it. You're showing me. And you know what happens over my shoulders about 3 or 5 years? They're always complaining, I don't see masks. I mean, there's a lot of masks on. Now they're corrupt people, but Joe Biden is from a failed and corrupt political class that enriched itself while draining the economic life and soul from our country. Guy's been here for 47 years. Isn't that amazing? I do something, he says, oh, I would have done it. He's been here for 47 years. Now all of a sudden he says, oh, we should have done this. When I closed and put a ban on China coming and heavily infected, I saved thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of lives. He said I was xenophobic, I shouldn't have done it. Months later, he agreed it was the right thing to do. Now he goes out, I should have done it sooner. And yet he didn't want me to do it months later. And these people, I don't know how they get away with it. You know why? Because those people are more corrupt than anybody. They don't even ask them. They don't even ask them. For the last 47 years, they shut down your factories, let drugs pour into our country and all over our great communities, and they ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless, ridiculous foreign wars in countries that you never even heard of. By the way, they're all coming back. They've been coming back. People don't like to hear it. People don't like to hear it. They're coming back rapidly. Thank you. He's a servant of the wealthy donors, globalists, and special interests who got rich bleeding America dry and putting America last. As your president, I could have been the greatest fundraiser of all time. You know, you see these numbers that they raised 300 million. You know why? When they raise money, that's a deal. They're making deals. I would be the single greatest fundraiser in history. I'll call up the head of Goldman Sachs. I'll call up the head of all these Wall Street guys. Most of them I know or know enough about. I know too much. And I could call up. Listen, do me a favor. Will you give 10 million to my campaign? Yes, Mr. President. Would you give 20 million to yes? But you know, when you do that, you don't have to say anything. When they call you in 3 months and they say, we need help with this or that, it's, you know, very hard. Like sort of almost morally. Look, they did for you and you did for them. It doesn't have to be a deal.
We love
or a
you.
quid pro quo like he had with $1 million to get his son out of problems with the prosecutor. And they never ask him about that either. But I would be the greatest fundraiser of all time, but I don't like to do that because it puts us at a disadvantage. And we never want to be at a disadvantage. So easy to think of it. The president calls, I'll give you whatever the hell you want. Lock him up! 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 In 2016, you voted to fire this corrupted and decrepit political establishment. And you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. Joe Biden is, and always has been, a corrupt politician. He always has been. And as far as I'm concerned, the Biden family is a criminal enterprise. You know, I don't know what's going on with the Democrats, a very powerful party, but it's not the Democrats, it's the Democrats plus the fake news media. And then it's also including big tech. Here it is. It's me. I'm all you have between your Second Amendment and
Come to
chaos.
California! Come to California!
We have some bigger, but they have to learn to stick together better. You know, we have some stupid
Come
people.
to San Jose!
You know, we have some stupid people. Some of them are gone. Flake, Corker, they're gone. But now we have this guy, Sass, wants to make a statement. Little Ben Sass. The Republicans have to stick together better. You don't see that. The one thing I respect about the Democrats, they stick
They
together.
always stick together.
You know what? They have lousy policy. They want open borders. They want sanctuary cities. They want a lot. They want to raise your tax. They want to quadruple your taxes. But the one thing is, they stick together. The Republicans have to learn. They got to stick together. I don't know. And by the way, it's been that way for decades. I don't know what the hell is in the blood. Could you explain that to me, please, Michael? What the hell is going on? It's been that way for many decades. I don't know. There's always a few. They want to make a statement.
They want to eat the kids'
This is a bunch of
Come
words.
back to save our children! Save our
No, I love them. They've been great. Hey, look,
Save the
on the
kids!
impeachment hoax, I couldn't do better. The 197 to nothing in the House, Republicans. And we even had the Democrat or two come and join us, right? That
Yes!
was an impeachment over a telephone call that was perfect. Other than that,
You're always
Think of that.
perfect!
but 197 to nothing. And with the Senate, 52 and a half to a half. Who was the half? I can't think. Oh, Biden couldn't think. He couldn't remember the name, right?
He's running
He
for
couldn't
Senate!
remember the name. Like, the guy from, I think he was the governor. I'm not sure.
He's running for Senate!
What, is he a second? What's his name? Mitt Romney.
Idiot. He said he's
He
running
didn't
for
remember
Senate.
him, which I thought was insulting to Mitt Romney. I wouldn't insult Mitt Romney that way. But Biden couldn't remember his name. You know, they've only known each other.
He doesn't remember he's running for president!
No, Biden is gone. Let's not kid ourselves. We want to be nice. Biden is gonzo.
His son is pedophile!
Can you imagine having Kamala?
He's
This liberal member. The most liberal member. And I think that whole thing, that's why Nancy Pelosi's talking about the 25th Amendment. That's the real reason. They want to get him the hell out. The Bidens make crooked Hillary Clinton look like an absolute amateur. And she's pretty bad. And I do want to hear from law enforcement, why aren't they looking at, maybe they are, and I hope they are. You know, I try to stay out of it because I'm
Lock them all up. Even
trying very hard to be so right down the middle. But why aren't they looking at the fact that she got a subpoena from the United States Congress for 33,000 emails, and she deleted every single one of them,
Corrupt.
and then acid washed them. And then she pounded her telephones with a hammer. I've gotten rid of cell phones, and I throw them away, you know. Now I throw them into the Secret Service, okay, I give them back. But before this, throw them away, I get a new one, right? She pounded the crap out of them with a hammer. How many people have gotten rid of your cell phones and pounded them to death with a hammer? So I just want to know, why aren't they looking at that?
Fight
Why aren't they
against
looking
children.
at that? Why aren't they looking at Omar? But the biggest of them all is Joe. He's corrupt. And they found the laptop. You know what they call that? The laptop from hell. That is a laptop.
Dirty
That's a
Joe!
laptop from hell. Let's see what happens with it. Let's see what happens with
Dirty
it.
Joe!
So a giant trove of emails show Hunter Biden making deals, setting up meetings with his father, Joe, and using the office of the vice president for a for-profit cash machine. That's what it is. This guy's a vacuum cleaner. He follows his father around and takes millions hundreds of millions and billions of dollars out of these countries. I mean, that is so dishonest.
Where's
That's so
Hunter?
crooked. He is, no, I call him the human vacuum cleaner. Right? You know those things on television?
Where's he at?
He's better than any one of them. Joe Biden said he knew nothing, but he lied because they have, this, I'm telling you, this laptop is a disaster. The fake news and big tech don't want to write about it, though. They don't want anything to do with it. And they punish. And thank you to the New York Post. It's unbelievable what they're doing. You know, it's the fifth or fourth largest newspaper. So you'd call it the mainstream, not the mainstream, but the mainstream.
Yes.
But it's the, I guess the fourth largest. It's the oldest newspaper in the U.S. I think it was Alexander Hamilton founded it, right? And they should be very proud of what they're doing. Because the New York Times refuses to write about it. And the fake Washington Post, which is a total fake, you know, that's a lobbyist for Bezos and the group, okay, for Amazon. But he calls it the lobbyist. You must call it that. I call it the lobbyist, okay? You own the Washington Post, you have a little power. It's a free lobbyist. Although it's probably not a free one. It probably costs him a fortune. But it gives him what he needs. But it's fake. And if you look at NBC, and MSDNC. And if you look at ABC, how about Stephanopoulos the other day? You know, he interviewed me 2 weeks ago. He gave me a tough interview, but I didn't consider it unfair. Although it turned out the audience was stacked against me, you know. There were some Trump people and some Biden people and some people. Well, no, it didn't work out that way, did it? And actually, they were very nice, right? The one woman said how handsome I was. You know, the one woman... I'd rather have that than have her say you're a wonderful politician. Hell with that. I'd rather have her say, what's better than that, right, Michael? You're so handsome. You have such a great smile. See, here's what happened with her. She was so nice, but she was supposed to be like, I think, a former Hillary supporter. But the way she said it to me, it was so nice. And then, after the show, and she said it right, did anyone see that? It was so lovely. And then after the show, she went rogue. I wouldn't vote for him. I would.
Still going.
They said, wait a minute, this isn't the deal here. What are you doing? I'm sure that the Democrats, together with their partner, ABC Television Network, said, what the hell happened with her? That's a terrible thing that she did. So I'm sure they hit her very hard, and she got back in line, okay? But I think hopefully her first statement was the statement she believed. He's a handsome man.
Yes, you are! We love you! We love
So
you!
now, the fake news will say, President Trump went on a rant talking about how handsome he is.
They're not going to let you out.
He went on a rant. It was a terrible thing. We don't think he's handsome. Actually, they think I must be the most unattractive human being. Except what they don't realize is without me, they will have ratings that will nosedive and go out of business You know, I'm making this speech a little bit longer, then I'm looking at this crazy Nevada sun, and I'm sitting here with his white skin. But who the hell cares if I get a little sun?
There you
They don't want to write about or report on the scandal because they want Biden to win. You know, I've always said, in the end, they're going to all endorse me. Because if Biden wins, they're out of business. This is the most boring human being I've ever seen. But they want Biden to win so they can take over our country. Because they will take it over between big tech, Section 230, by the way.
Trump, come back to San Jose!
Yeah!
No.
California loves you!
It'll be one of the great disasters. I'm telling you. Depression. Just remember the word.
California
And you know
needs you.
And California, you from California.
We
Come on, Gabe. Let's go, Gabe. Come on, Gabe. You know, I just left. I'll tell you what. So I just left California. And I was in a place that was sort of Republican.
come to San
I was
Jose!
with a wonderful reporter. I just spoke from the Washington Times, which is a really good newspaper, by the way.
Come to
And he
Gilroy.
reported very strongly, the crowds were unbelievable.
Come to San
Unbelievable.
Jose.
And I don't know why we wouldn't win California.
Come
We're
down.
playing it a little
Come
bit.
to
In
us.
theory, you're not supposed to play.
We love you.
They have everything against them.
Us.
High crime, homeless, they don't take care of their homeless.
Save
They call
us.
it fuzzy. Come back to San Francisco and take care of your homeless. The endless forest fires, the endless. I like the governor, but I said, do you ever stop these forest fires? They gotta manage the forest, you know. I talk, it's all sorts of reasons. They gotta manage the forest.
Come to San Jose.
Manage it. It's called forest management. But they gotta stop. Now they have a new thing. They're running out of water. And you know they've run out of electricity. They have brownouts, blackouts. What's going on? A lot of people are leaving. They're leaving for Texas. They're leaving for Texas. They're leaving for Florida. They're leaving for places that are really not. But it's very interesting. A big thing the other day. They're going to ration their water in California. And I felt so bad. I called up and said, oh, do you have a drought? No. You know what they do? Millions of gallons an hour come down from the north, pour down, pour down. So they have so much, right? They have so much water, but they route it into the Pacific Ocean.
They do.
Because they have a smelt, right? Is it a smelt? How's that for a memory? Good. There's no problem there. A little tiny thing. And it's been having difficulty over the last long time. With water, without water, it's having difficulty.
On purpose.
But they want to save the smelt. And in saving the smelt, they're destroying human lives. Right?
Yep.
And they're destroying the farmers.
Right.
And even Los Angeles, the homes. So they have a thing
It's
where
everywhere.
they're bringing it down ultimately to 42 gallons a person. And that sounds like a lot. Look, if somebody said you could have 42 gallons a person, I think a day, it sounds like a lot of water, right? It's not. It's like a quick shower and let's wash your hands. And they have a mandate, wash your hands at all times. You must always constantly wash. Then they say 42 gallons. Wait a minute. Okay, I got a deal. I won't take a shower for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, they do. They shut the power off. It's true.
So 42 gallons, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. A friend of mine, he has this massive house. He says, I'm not going to be able to take a shower. I live in a house, this gorgeous house, right?
They shut
Can't
the
take a
power
shower.
off.
Wash your hands every hour, every 15 minutes. You know what I did? I'll tell you this crazy story. So you know what bothers me? When you go into a new hotel, a new house, they have these faucets, right? And you turn them on, no water comes out. Even if you live in like North Carolina, you live in areas where, up in New England, most of our country has so much water we don't know what to do with it. The problem is how do you get rid of it? But they do for, like the desert, like here, but they do for areas that are a little bit tougher for water. But even you have the water. So they do it. So they come up with this one regulation for all over the country. So you go into a hotel or you buy a house, and they have what's called a restrictor. Yeah, look at it, they're all dying. Same thing, by the way, same thing with your dishwasher.
Yes.
Dishwashers, they had a little problem, they didn't give enough water. Like, so people would run them 10 times, so they end up using more water. And the thing's no damn good. We freed it up, now you can buy a dishwasher, and it comes out, and you go buy a dishwasher. I said, what's wrong with this thing? It doesn't clean the dishes, right? The women come up to me. The women who they say don't like me, they actually do like me a lot. Suburban women, please vote for me. I'm saving your house. I'm saving your community. I'm keeping your crime way down. I keep hearing now that it's all fake stuff. Remember they said last time about women. Women will never vote. He will never vote for Donald Trump. They'll never vote. Then the end of the evening, they're all crying. Oh my God, what happened? Remember John King? What's going on there? Yeah, the red.
Fake news.
He won Florida. Oh, he won Florida. Wasn't that I won Florida? I won it like fast. And by the way, we're way up in Florida right now. He's done a great job. Joey. We've done things for Florida that nobody thought could ever be done. But anyway, but John Kingston is up there. He won Florida. Oh, well, that was quick. But the big, you know, when we won Ohio, because they gave it here for a year and a half, when we were thinking about doing this, you cannot win unless you win the great state of Ohio. Right? You heard that 100 times. They were doing that for me. Shtick. And then I get these polls. I had great people in Ohio. They said, sir, you're going to win Ohio. You don't even have to come back. You're going to win Ohio. By the way, they said that to me again just recently. But they said, you cannot win. So we ended up winning Ohio by 8 points. And it wasn't that we won Ohio, but the polls closed at 7 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock in 1 second, because, you know, unless you win big, Michael, right? They have to, you know, they keep you waiting. So the polls have closed in the great state of Ohio. Donald Trump has won the state of Ohio. They kept saying I was here. Yeah, dudes, they said I was, and I'll tell you how accurate their polls were 4 years ago. I was down in 9 states the day of the election. I won all 9 states. Yeah. Other than that, they were quite accurate.
Fake news.
Actually, this time they're much better. You want to know the truth. This time they're actually much better. No, but we're doing much better. And as I said, we have much more enthusiasm now. But anyway, getting back to my very boring story about faucets and dishwashers. So I said to the head, I called up great dishwasher company from Ohio that we saved, by the way. I said, what's the problem with your dishwasher? Well, they don't give us any water. I mean, you know, it'd be nice to be able to get enough water. What's the problem? We need more water. Not that much, but give. I said, how much you need? This. Would you like more? Well, I'd love more. Would you give us more? Yeah, I'll give you more. You have so much water, you don't know what to do with it, right? So we gave them what they need. And now the dishwashers are incredible. They work beautifully. And you go one time, and you come back and your dishes are nice and beautiful and clean and dry. You don't have to go 10 times. The same thing with the restrictors in the faucet. So, I hate to say the 3 things. It's the shower, it's the sink, and you know the third element in the bathroom. But I don't say it, because every time I say it, they only talk about that one. Because it's sort of gross to talk about, right? So I won't talk about the fact that people have to flush their toilet 15 times. I will not talk about it. I'll only talk about showers, okay? But there is 3 things. I won't talk about it. This way they can't report. They can't report it. So what happens? I told my people, environmental people, why are we doing this? Because when you wash your hands, it takes you 5 times longer. You know, the water's not coming. You got soap, you can't get it off.
Yeah, that's so true.
I said, open it up. They said, what do you mean, take the restrictors off?
Yeah.
People know. And if you're out here, you got to be careful and you got to do all the things you've been doing anyway. Yeah. Take the restrictors off. And you may leave it in certain areas where you might need it, but most of the country, big portion, it doesn't need it. Then on the shower, the worst. You ever get under a shower where no water comes in? And me, I want that hair to be so beautiful.
What do you want with your hair?
Some of these hotels, you know, when you travel, I go into these hotels, new hotels, they do it nice. It's not their fault. And I get in there, I say, oh, I can look at it now. I know everything. I say, oh, here we go. Turn on the water. Drip, 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 drip.
He said drip.
Now, you go into a shower, the water pours out.
They're gonna make
you
it
go
rain
into
next
a
summer.
sink, and you can wash your hands very nicely, beautiful. And the third thing, don't worry about, okay? Just one time, that's all. So I'm not just running against Biden, but you watch, they'll be talking about the third thing. They won't. I've done this before. And they never even talk about sinks and showers. So I never talk to you. You'll see how dishonest they are. But I'm running against a left-wing media, big tech giants, and a corrupt political class, and a corrupt Democratic Party. You saw what they did. They spied on my campaign and got caught. They tried to take down the President of the United States.
All right, you guys. I hate to do this, but I got 5% left on my phone. I'm glad you're watching. Gotta go. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I couldn't get the